Welcome back to garageLaverty. Today we're going through some stuff. I've got the car up in the air, you're sitting on it right now. And we'll go through kind of what the plan is, what parts I've gotten recently, what I'm going to pick up tomorrow, and what my next steps are. So I got some feedback that this whole stand here and talk and look silly thing isn't working. So Rob, just for you, I've shot a ton of B-roll, and I'm not going to be in every frame. Also, I did some Foley work, so it'll be laughs for everybody. Anyhow, stay tuned. I bought this car, and instantly my friend Eric was like, "Sir, that car says Falcon on the back of it. We must name the car Amadeus." And he wasn't wrong. But then also, my other friend's son, Peter, decided that it almost says bacon on the back. And as such, it's kind of taken the name Bacon. So, that aside, I'm already gathering parts. And with those parts is the Ford 88 you see here. That was a weekend junkyard run. I still can't get it out of the truck because I don't have a hoist, but it's a 373. It's a limited slip. It was $150. I can't really go wrong. So parts are coming together and it's really like about to be a thing here. So the next big thing I got going on, and I have to get this AC sold. Somebody's interested in it. It's a fancy dealer installed original part. It might as well go to a home that's gonna love it. And when it turns out that it was still charged and functional when I accidentally vented it, that's all the more reason to make sure that before it sits out forever, it becomes the AC somebody wants. So I'm going to get that out of there. The next big thing I have coming is tomorrow, I'm going to go to the junkyard and pick up the transmission for this car. So I spent a few dollars. I went on to everybody's friend, carpart.com. And if you haven't been there, it's well worth your time. And I went and looked up gearboxes for a Chevy Colorado. And the Chevy Colorado gearbox is not quite a T56, but for my needs, it'll work out pretty well. So I went on there. Turns out Gundy's, which is a chain here in the Northwest, had a few of them sitting in there. Now, at this point, I have a car with I don't know how many miles on it. The rear end I got has over 200,000 miles on it. The engine I got has over 200,000 miles on it. But this transmission only has 85,000 miles on it. So I'm going to go pick that up tomorrow. And then once I get that, comes the painful part of things. I have to go through and buy the adapter to put that gearbox behind my engine. And that's going to be a $500 day. Now, when I only paid a couple $100 for the motor, a couple $1,000 for the car, $300 for the transmission, paying $500 and change for the gearbox adapter kind of stings a little. But as the saying goes, you got to pay to play. And this is a buy once, cry once scenario, which God knows I'm going to cry a lot. But, you know, it's just going to be what it is. And I'll cope with it. And if you look at this, there's little extra pieces I have to buy, and that $420 adapter becomes $535 real damn quick. But this thing's going to be awesome, so I'm sure it'll be worth it. And knowing that, I got to get to work on the car. So today, I got to work, got the car up in the air, started ripping the engine out. Not real fast. Not really doing a ton of work here, just kind of being lazy on a sunny summer Monday afternoon. And kind of looked around under the car a little more now that it was on stands in my own garage, and saw some stuff that concerns me, but nothing that's too terrible. And so with the car up in the air, started yanking the wheels off. And when we got the car on the trailer, we noticed that 15 out of 16 lug nuts were backwards. They all had the taper outward on the lug nut when the previous owner tightened them down. And we laughed about it, but we're like, oh, look, there's one that's perfect. It's got a square outer edge. So as I was going through here, running around under the car, pulling the car up in the air, up, down, this, that, the other, I realized the one that I thought was on the right way was in fact not even a lug nut. And that left me just laughing. So, previous owner of this car has had this car for a lot of years, and I really want to make sure I do right by this car because it had a lot of history to him, even though he let it go. And so, don't take my comments about anything having to do with his lack of skill or interest or anything like that. And Toby, if you're watching this, trust me, I don't mean it that way. But it made me laugh when I saw 15 out of 16 lug nuts backwards and one not even a lug. So, yeah, I got the car up in the air, started looking around underneath it, and honestly, it's kind of terrible in some ways, but not so bad in others. Obviously, there's rust in lots of places, but it's got a brand new fuel tank, which is going to go away because I need a fuel cell. But as I worked my way forward, I saw some rust, but I saw some, pretty decent stuff. This exhaust is going to be the death of me because I don't have a reciprocating saw, and that's never going to unbolt. Without an oil pan under the motor, it's, I'm not even trying to put it back together. I got to drain that transmission. I got to get that drive shaft out. And really, everything's going to come out from underneath pretty quick. I can get on replacing these floor pans and these toe panels. And with that, it'll start to look like a car. But in the meantime, I started trying to get the radiator out, get the air conditioning out, and start preparing to have this motor leave its home of the last 60 years. So, turns out, despite not running since 1996 or sooner, it still had coolant in it. Big shock to me. Was not expecting to drown my floor today, but I did. Luckily, a well-placed swift kick to a 5-gallon bucket, and I caught most of it. But yeah, took a trip to the grocery store, got some kitty litter as you do, and kept taking things apart here. Turns out with the dealer installed air conditioning, that radiator is not the easiest thing to get out. I get to go back to the manual and figure out exactly what I'm missing here, because with the cowl off, the radiator doesn't move. The bolts are blocked by the condenser, and it's not looking happy to leave. Pulled the battery out, started running into all the fun rust that you get with a car like this. That battery tray did not want to leave. In the long run, it succumbed to the Ooga Battery's out. Everything is out as regards coolant, fuel lines, AC lines, and it's coming together. So I think I'm going to leave you with that. And we'll come back later this week to take you through the parts that came with the car, some of which I'm going to sell. And we'll kind of get a closer look at the interior of the car. We'll get a better look at the air suspension, and we'll see where we're going from here. So until next time, remember, the garage is more fun than YouTube, and YouTube's more fun than TV. So you might as well stay outside and do work.